All right, hello and welcome to the aois21 Publishing first birthday party, broadcasting live on YouTube, Google on Air. I see there aren't any current viewers, so we'll go ahead and spread the news that we're live. All right. So I had hoped to have like an actual location set down where we could gather together, aois21 creatives, members of the staff, my family, other families, and of course anyone that would like to come along and celebrate with us, as well as have a webcast. But we've just had so much going on the past couple months that finding a location just didn't happen. So instead, we have just we're a company that really takes advantage of the online world and everything available to us. So why not have a webcast for our first birthday? So now, welcome for those that most likely will be watching this later, as anybody joining now won't be watching it live. Now, there's a few things we're going to try to cover tonight. It is exactly 1 year ago today, aois21 Publishing LLC was officially granted a business license in the Commonwealth of Virginia by the State Corporation Commission of Virginia. So that's what makes it a birthday. We actually started a bit before that. aois21 originally was built off of my own, when I self-published my first book in 2010, Polk Soliloquy, using lulu.com primarily for the print release, and they helped me with the early digital release. And then when I started to do promotions to it, I decided to give a name to my promotional effort, and that's when the genesis of aois21 Publishing began. 2 years later, I published my second book, the novella Life's Penance. For that, I started to work with Lulu and then decided that I could go ahead and do it all on my own, because it was just going to be a digital release. So then I launched Life's Penance, did all the digital formatting myself, built website, and everything there. And at that time, I built the very first version of the aois21 Publishing website. It wasn't aois21.com, of course, that wouldn't come until much later, but it was a Google site, as our website has been up until tonight. So then from there, I toured with my first book. I did a launch and promotion for my second book. Then I was just constantly planning on, doing future books. I had my nonfiction sports memoir, The 48 Game Misconduct, which is now available for free download from the aois21 market and soon from other stores. And of course, my future writings, the future novellas of the Millennial Rose series. I decided in October of 2013 that the skills I had learned and sort of refined while promoting my own books, I wanted to try to use to help other authors. Now, I not doing this just with the basic stuff I just learned by doing, but I also had completed my master's degree from George Washington University with a specialization in marketing of services in 2011, a diploma in marketing communication from the International Advertisers Association, as well as a diploma for a management residency in Chile. But so I came to this not with just the basic experience, but also the stuff I had learned at GW. And then, how I had put some of that into practice, into selling my own books. And then just allow me to see things, see how a book, well, in this case a book, but also other things, how it could be marketed differently, and how the major problem I see personally with the publishing industry now is that the major falling out point is on when it comes after a book is released, marketing sort of falls flat for 90% of authors. If you aren't someone who already comes with a considerable cachet, or if you don't have something that you already have a considerable fan base or background to help support you, then it's difficult to get the infrastructure behind you to help. So that is essentially what aois21 came out of. The idea of, as I had written on our original website, say we are first and foremost a marketing company. Now, I got some criticism for putting that down. Of course, if you read just that line, then it makes it questionable. Well, are we a publishing company or a marketing company? And the answer to that is simple: yes, we're both. Because the main goal we're trying to do is to help people market books. And part of the marketing of it is when you have a company and you want to come out with a new product, you don't bring the marketing people in when it's all finished. You want the marketing people in there early, because they are going to help make the product the best they possibly can. Now, as essentially a publishing company built off of that marketing base, that allows us to bring in designers that can help make a great cover design. That allows us to try to work with an author to come up with the best title that not only serves the author's desires, but also it makes it that indelible mark that helps in sales. It's unfortunate, but often a lot of books get sold purely on title alone. And then if it has anything beyond title, it's the cover design. So those are the two focal points you have to look at when you're beginning of marketing a book. So yeah, so aois21 started out with the idea of it being a marketing company first. But it built from there, because you may have the marketing, but you have to have the content, you have to have the product. And that's where we have our editors, we have our creatives. And then from there, we have the product, we will do our best. And we've been working on that for the past year plus of putting ourselves out there in the market. Now, just we're going to have a number of announcements tonight, and as the other viewers come on, I'll be sure to spotlight members of my staff that come on and other of the aois21 creatives that are able to join us. But so first of all, it's our first birthday. What have we done over the past year? Now, we're a part-time company. The entire staff is part-time. We all have full-time jobs, and we are doing this as a hobby. Well, not really a hobby. I mean, it is work. There is a vocation to it, but it's not the number one thing on our plate, but it is definitely something, at least in my case, that's always on my mind. Now, knowing that, we've had a number of opportunities this year, and we've been very thankful for everyone that's come our way. And I want to share with you some of those things that we were able to do. Now, of course, all of the announcements we have press releases will be issuing out afterwards. So you'll be able to catch up on that. So first up, for our year in review. So the first big thing that we did was right before we launched, we completed our first Kickstarter campaign. Excuse me. The Kickstarter had the practical main goal of helping launch the company. But when we originally wrote it, it was entirely geared towards helping us launch the company, helping us pay the startup fees and buying some of the critical software and hardware we needed for to help the initial company run. And that's just accounting software. flash drives and the website. And, well, that Kickstarter was initially rejected by the Kickstarter authorities because they did not want people using Kickstarter just to fund starting a new business. So instead, they wanted to focus on a project with a clear beginning and end. So part of our project, our Kickstarter project, was the launch of the aois21 annual. So what ended up happening was we shifted the write-up and made that the focal point of the Kickstarter was the annual itself. Now, the aois21 annual, we were able to, the successful Kickstarter closed on May 3rd of last year. On August 1st, we opened up submissions, and we had over a dozen submissions with poetry, photography, art, short stories, and book excerpts. Well, we didn't accept every submission we got, but we were able to select quite a few of them. And we were able to put out the aois21 annual on October 1st of 2013. We did a print run with the help of Global Printing of Alexandria, Virginia. And of course, we also have the e-journal available for download. And we did, the cover design was featured a art piece by our photographer artist Elaine Langerman of Washington, D.C. And we were able to mix poetry, short stories, everything from not only contributions from aois21 creatives, but also those that come in. And we had a pretty wide-ranging group of contributors, people from all over the world, took part in our first issue. So that was our first major accomplishment of our first year in operation. And of course, copies are still available. Now, when we officially launched, during the build-up time, I had worked with various friends of mine who are authors and brought them on board as the first aois21 creatives, starting with Philip J. Sipkoff, well, myself, of course, being with my two books being the base and the chief creative of aois21. Then Philip J. Sipkoff signed with me next, Ian Roberts, Sheila Bowler, and Shayla Morris, all coming on board. Within weeks, just a couple weeks of us officially launching, we also welcomed poet Bianca Palmisano. Then with her book, The Empty Spaces, that she had self-published through CreateSpace on Amazon. And then a good friend of mine, Joshua M. Morgan, came to me with an idea for a children's book. And he signed with us just after Memorial Day. And we're happy to announce that book came out, the book Pockets, came out on March 31st, the Tuesday before Easter. After a long process of working with Josh to make sure that it suited exactly his style, his desire, and it has done very well with an extremely successful pre-order campaign through PubSlush. So after Josh, we also welcomed author Paul Dickinson Russell, who is still in the writing process. He's writing a fantasy novel, The Will of the Magi. I'll talk more about Paul in a minute. Then also welcomed author Eileen Vega, who wrote her book, Dating as Told by the Modern Whore, during NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month last November. And our most recent creative to sign, Dr. Deepan Chatterjee, with his book of poetry and short fiction, The First Prophetical. Now, as we brought on more new authors, that of course meant we had more books to release. We of course put out Bianca's book of poetry, The Empty Spaces, Sheila Bowler's book of poetry, What This Black Woman Knows, and Joshua Morgan's children's book Pockets, Eileen Vega's book nonfiction collection, Dating as Told by the Modern Whore, my own sports memoirs nonfiction, and 48 Game Misconduct, Philip J. Sipkoff's second book, Escape from Destiny, which is a historical biography. We were able to release that on Veterans Day 2014 after it was a biography of Captain George Eugene Prujon. We released it after we were able to get in contact with his granddaughter who gave us the permission to use the photographs that were originally given to Philip for the book. But just to be sure that it was all properly used with permission of the family, we contacted her, and she was able to, she gave us permission, and we were able to share the photos with her, and she got some wonderful pictures of her grandfather, and I think at least one of them even with her dad in it. And then, of course, the other last book we put out was the romance novel A Satisfied Black Woman by Shayla Morris. That was a book originally published 5 years ago, in print only. But Shayla was not happy with the final version of the book. So she came to us and we redid it. She rewrote certain sections. We had our editors go over it and do a fresh round of changes. We found a designer on Fiverr that she liked and worked with her to get a better cover design than the original one that she was unhappy with, and we were able to release that book, and it's done very well since its release. Now, I got word that our editor-in-chief, Corey Parker, is watching, but for some reason, he's not showing as a viewer, so strange. It's supposed to... All right, we do have a group chat set up, so if you want to send me any messages or comments, it's still saying that there are 0 viewers, but I know there's more than that. So, but for those that are watching, thank you for joining me. Now, moving on, I'll just try to run through the list a little quicker, otherwise we could be here all night and nobody wants that. So, after we released new titles, in December, we launched a logo design contest. We chose 5 designers on the work-for-hire site Fiverr, and they created 7 different logo designs. We then put that up there and opened that up to the public to vote. And the final design chosen by Updraft Designs of Canada is our logo that you'll see now on the wall behind me. And using the Playfair display font in the green color. And we have the symbol here, which I call the power mark. I say that because of the fact I feel it looks like a power button that's been turned to its side, and then a bookmark laid over top. So hence the power mark. And through having the new logo design, we were able to launch a whole new branding effort, which you'll see on the old aois21.com, and you'll see on our new website, which we are launching tonight. We launched 2 podcast series this year. On late February, early March, we launched the poetry podcast, Passion on the Page. It comes out every 21 days and features rotating through our 4 aois21 creatives that are poets, that Sheila Bowler, Phil Sipkov, Bianca Palmisano, and Deepan Chatterjee, as well as we have guest poet every few episodes, and other aois21 creatives are invited to read poems that inspire them, and read them and then talk about how they inspire them and helps them when they're crafting their own stories and work. So the current episode that's out is that came out this past Monday, featured guest poet Katie Hogue and her poem Unrelenting. Katie was one of our contributors to the aois21 annual. It was actually a friend of mine from high school that I was able to reach out to. She is more than happy to submit some of her work first for the annual and then for the podcast. And we're looking forward to hearing from her more as we prepare for the second aois21 annual coming up this fall. The other podcast series we launched was Publish Me, which is a monthly podcast coming on the 7th of each month. So in fact, came out yesterday. And I host that with aois21 creative Paul Dickinson Russell, who, as I said earlier, is currently writing his first book, the fantasy novel, The Will of the Magi. So we're checking in with him monthly on how the writing process. And then also each month we're looking at different facets of the book. In this month's episode, he discusses the rules. As it is a fantasy novel, you need to have very strict rules that you follow. And last month, he discussed the characters. And in the June episode, we will be discussing the setting of his fantasy world. Now, we have Now, over the years, I've built up some great connections with local retailers. We focus on working with independent bookstores. In the past year, we've had events at Books and Other Found Things in Leesburg, Virginia, and Upshur Street Books in the Petworth neighborhood of Washington, D.C. Books and Other Found Things is also one of our retail outlets for selling the AS21 annual, and they were actually the first to sign up. You could also pick up the AS21 annual at the bookstore. It was known as Battlefield Books and Beyond of Gettysburg, PA, but they just changed their name. In fact, it's a very, very recent development. Let me just. It is now known as Gettysburg Battlefield Books and Collectibles. And that's right in the heart of the battlefield area of Gettysburg. I highly recommend stopping by. They're wonderful people there. It'll be open tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 5 if you're going to be in the greater Gettysburg area. Now moving on. We also had many events in the past year. We had our official launch party Memorial Day weekend at Busboys and Poets on 5th and V in DC. And then, of course, we had the events in Leesburg and Petworth. We went to the Virginia Festival of the Book in Charlottesville. That was our first official book fair as a company. We were so busy with launching last year that we missed all of the key spring book events. And then we were focused on working on the AS21 annual in the fall, and we missed the fall book events. That's something that definitely won't be repeated. We were in Kensington for the International Day of the Book Festival on April 16th. No, April 24th. Previous to that, of course, in Charlottesville for the Virginia Festival of Book. Next Saturday, May 16th, we will be at the Gaithersburg Book Festival on the City Hall grounds in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And a number of our creatives are coming with us. If you're a subscriber to our weekly email, this coming week's email, you'll get the full announcement of the lineup, who will be there and at what time, so you can schedule your time accordingly and come on out to meet us and some of our great creatives. Also in the past year, when we did our initial startup, I was able to bring some great staff on board, such as Editor-in-Chief Corey Parker, Creative Adjacent Adam Wallach, our Chief of Operations Megan Angevine. Then, but since we launched, we also have added webmaster Joshua Soberman. He was actually one of the consultants that helped us launch the company. He was our technical consultant. And when it came time to launch the new website, I asked him, and he was willing to step up to be our webmaster. And also we added our Chief of Development, Cami Rodan, and she is helping us with helping to do marketing plans and work on strategy, social media strategy, and the like. In August of last year, we launched a YouTube web series called Creative Speaking. We sat down with a number of our creatives and asked them a series of 5 questions, with each answer ranging from a minute to 2 minutes long. And now we've been releasing those monthly on the 14th of each month, and rotating through. We had the first 3 creatives we had done were Ian Roberts, then Philip J. Sipkov, and Bianca Palmisano. We just recorded Eileen Vega this past month, and we should be recording Dr. Deepan Chatterjee next week. And each month we release, we'll do an intro for them, and then we work through the questions an episode at a time, rotating through the various creatives. So if you're on YouTube, next Thursday, May 14th, you'll see the introduction of Eileen Vega. So get a chance to actually hear her talk about her work, what inspired her. And of course, the final big thing that we've done this year is we have a brand new website built through SquareSpace, and we are launching that website tonight. So now I am switching, as we speak here, I am switching everything over so that from now on, if you now visit aois21.com, it takes you, yep. If you now go to aois21.com, it will take you to the brand new aois21 publishing post, now powered by SquareSpace. We put a lot of work into this over the past few months. It's far more organized than what we had before. And obviously, since it's now launched, we can take off the under construction banner up top. One of the things with working with SquareSpace, they provide us a free domain. So actually, if you were paying attention, you would have been able to actually see the site in progress at aois21.net. But that currently, all the links work for aois21.net, but aois21.com, we are currently switching over all the links from our old website. Now, the old website's still going to be there, but we're not going to be updating it much anymore. So you'll be able to find stuff there, but then, of course, go to the new website and see everything up to date, all of our news, all of our events. Now, the website is built on three main pillars, and it's the basic three pillars that are the basis of our company: supporting authors, reaching out to readers, supporting self-publishers. And we do that through authors, having them submit their work to be in aois21 Creative. Readers, we have the aois21 Market, where all of our books, our current 12 books and aois21 Annual, are currently available. And then self-publishers, yes, we have. If you're creative, of course, you can avail yourself of our editing team, our design team, and of course, doing the conversion and digitalization of books. But we also made those services available to those who are self-published. And we charge a base fee, and you're able to get either any of the different levels of editing: copy editing, line editing, or developmental editing. Or you could do a 3-step editing process where 3 different editors will look over your work for a reasonable fee. Now, also, we have, of course, design work on cover design. That's by commission, depending on how much the nature of the project and which designer you're working with. And then, of course, we have set fees for digitalization. Usually, if you have a manuscript that's in print form and we have to scan it in, we'll do a per page price. And then the final conversion, that's a set fee. And then we can give you the digital file in every possible format, and then you can use that to set up your own distribution through Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, all that. Now, with our aois21 Creatives, we do all that for them. And we also offer to be a friend of aois21, where you will do distribution, but we only are doing distribution, and you'll be listed on aois21 Market. And for that, we charge just a percentage of each sale. Now, if you're currently viewing the website, you could scroll up to the top. We have our 5 main links at the top. We have the Market, which is the home of where you can purchase all of the aois21 titles and the annual, as well as there's a link there to the services, and you can see what's coming soon. Then we have the creatives. All 10 of our creatives now have their own individual pages on our website, so they can share that, and then you'll see their pictures of their biography, links to their blogs and Facebook pages, and other information about their books, including the other places you can buy it outside the aois21 Market. And then links to if they've contributed to poetry the poetry podcast, the episode was there. If we've recorded them for the author interviews, as their episode of Creative Speaking is released, we'll be sharing them as well. Under news and events, that's pretty self-explanatory. All of the major news all of our press releases under news, and all of our events, that's book fairs, book signings, of the like are there. Now then we have the media section. There we have the hub, which is landing site for whenever you visit media.aois21.com. Now here we have the AOIS21 Annual, our literary magazine. We have the Publish Me podcast. That's all the episodes listed there and information about it. Then there's, of course, the Passion on the Page podcast, the information with that, plus the link for you to submit to be one of our guest poets. And then finally, the Creative Speaking web series. And you go to that site, not only will you see all the past episodes, but we'll usually give you a heads up on who the next person will be. And finally, we have the About Us section. Just for the who we are. Then we have our staff gallery. You get to see who the people are that are behind the scenes of AOIS21 making everything happen. Reviews people have left on us on our Facebook page or other sites such as Yelp or Thursday Market or any of the like. Openings, that's current position openings. We're always looking for new editors, designers, and plus we have a couple openings currently on our management team. Partners and supporters, that's corporate partners, companies that we've worked with that are intrinsic to us being able to do what we do, like SquareSpace, who's powering our website, or PayPal, who we worked with in the past with our market, and we continue to use to be able to accept credit cards at book signings and events. Supporters are those who supported our initial Kickstarter campaign. Now, of course, the last page on there is contact, and feel free to contact us. We have a form here on the new website. You can call us at 571-206-8021. Email us pub@aois21.com or on Twitter @aois21, facebook.com/aois21, plus.google.com/+aois21. You name a social network, we're on it in some way, shape, or form. And you can find us on Skype @aois21. Now, to talk more about supporters, of course, like I said, we used a Kickstarter campaign to launch officially back a year ago. Now, we announced tonight that we will be launching our second Kickstarter campaign this Memorial Day. Now, this one is much more focused. The primary goal of this is just to fund the second AOIS21 Annual. When we launched last year, the Kickstarter we had helped fund a lot of the operations we needed, and a little bit of funding was left to help pay for the production of the first AOIS21 Annual, specifically the editing costs. So when it came time, came time to release, and we were able to offer all the contributors a small percentage of the royalties in order as a thank you for their contribution, as payment for their contribution. Now, we want to be able to offer our contributors more this year, and the way to do that is to cover more of the upfront costs rather than having that come out of the final price for sales. Because when we added all up the printing costs and other extraneous costs with the release of the first AOIS21 Annual, there wasn't actually much left over that could go towards the contributors. So for this next issue, we're using Kickstarter to fund not only the editing, but the full printing costs. So starting Memorial Day, we're going to be asking for your support, for your help. We're trying to raise $1,200. And $1,200, if we reach it, will fund the production of 100 copies of the AOIS21 Annual, which will be sold at $12 a piece. So there's how you get the $1,200. But of that $12 a piece, aside from the distribution fees, whether it be the cost to sell it through our AOIS21 market or whatever it's the distribution fees of Amazon or any of our retail partners, their share, The remaining money from that will entirely go to the contributors. We won't hold back any of the production costs. We won't hold back any costs for software. We'll take care of our distributors, but then from there, all the money from the sale of these annuals will go to the contributors. So we said 1,200 to release 100. If we go over 1,200, then depends on how many we go up, we'll increase the number that we print. If we have more than 100 people contributing, then obviously we're going to need to have more than 100 copies printed, because we'll be the first rewards for the Kickstarter. The $5 will be an electronic copy of the annual. $10, you'll be able to get a print copy. For $20, you get the print copy of the second annual, as well as a copy of the first one. Then, of course, we'll have other special rewards. For $50, you'll get your print copy, plus you get an invitation to our release party at a location to be announced in the Washington, D.C. area for early October, where we're hoping to get several contributors out and do live readings from the annual. And of course, copies will be available for anyone else who comes in. But if you give at the $50 level, you will be a featured guest at that release party. If you donate at the $100 level, we only have 5 slots open for that, and that is to be a member of the review board for this annual. So not only will you be helping support it to make it happen, but also we'll ask you to give us a little bit of your time to help make sure that we choose the best quality submissions for the annual. We were very lucky that we had excellent submissions last year. We want to keep that going and making sure we put a high quality product out there. So what happens is we'll have up to 5 people. We give $100. It will meet through online, and we'll share. And it all depends on what you come on board for. If you prefer poetry, you could be helping to review the poetry submissions. If you prefer short stories, you could help review the short story submissions. And we'll try to get the right balance of all those, of poetry, short stories, book excerpts, photography, and art, to put out another great annual. Other things let you know about the annual. Last year when we put it out, we went full magazine, full paper size, 8.5 by 11. We're going to shrink down a little bit this year to 7 by 10, which is more of the industry standard for literary magazines. Last year we printed it as a pamphlet. This year our goal is to have it printed adhesive binding, so a flat edge and glue. So it's a bit more permanent, and you can have it on your shelf there and read the spine, aois21 annual. And well, so we have an official logo for the annual, which is essentially the aois21 annual, the aois21 publishing, but in fall colors. And I'm very happy with that. So we will be launching that Kickstarter Memorial Day, and it will run until August 1st. The Kickstarter will end. Successful or not, August 1st, we open submissions for the next aois21 annual. Submissions will run from August 1st to the end of the month, and then we'll take the entire month of September to bring it all together, get all the layout done, get it to the printer, and it will be hot and ready October 1st. And of course, if you support the Kickstarter campaign, your name can be listed on the supporter or as a supporter on our website, as well as in the annual itself. Now, other big announcements. We've been very fortunate to have to work with some great people over the past year. I mentioned already 2 of our great creatives, Joshua and Morgan, who wrote the children's book Pockets. I'm happy to announce that Josh is working with us on a second children's book called Daddy Come Home. It'll be we're aiming for, again, an Easter release next year. It's in the same style. The Pockets was a conversation between him and his oldest son, in which he used, took photographs of his son and used comic book styling. The same thing will be with Daddy Come Home, where this time it's a conversation between his wife and his 2 sons. And so excited about that. We'll be doing a print run of that. through a partnership with a local printer. Of course, this last one we worked with Minuteman Press to create pockets, and we'll put it out to bid and hopefully find another work with somebody great to come up with Daddy Come Home. Now, also, we have a new book coming from Philip J. Sipkoff, our first creative that signed when we launched. He's already written the poetry book Early Thoughts of a Young Man and the historical biography Escape from Destiny. Now he has his own fantasy novella, The Magnus and the Maiden, that he's been working on for the past 20 years. He's brought to us, and we're going to work with him to bring it out. Now, this is a new title for him. The other two books he self-published in print only, and we brought in a digital marketplace. This book will be releasing primarily in the digital marketplace, but depending on the success of our pre-order campaign and everything, we'll look to possibly doing a print run. But it is going to actually be a partnership between Phil and a member of our design team, illustrator Rebecca Head. Phil and Rebecca have been talking online, and she's going to be doing the imagery for the book. Not only she'll be drawing a map to guide through his fantasy world, but also character portraits, and of course the cover design. So that's a full partnership for them, and we'll have more information about that. We'll have the press release going out tonight, officially with that information. So, all right, I see it's 8:45, or actually depends on what clock you're looking at, whether it's 8:45 or 8:42. And of course, it's still listing here as there being no viewers, even though I know that somebody is watching along online. That's troubling. Okay, Corey Parker tried the live chat, but his posting failed. That's really unfortunate. And I'm trying to see if there's anything here. Nope, nothing more. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, finishing up here. Now, of course, this obviously that's a lot that we've done this past year, and there's more to come. We had, when we sat down and originally started playing this, there was a number of goals we were hoping to meet in the first year. We're hoping to have 7 or 8 creatives, and we have 10, so we've exceeded that goal. We were looking at being able, whereas our first releases were all digital conversion of self-published books, we were looking to actually be able to release new books as original content, and we were able to do that with Eileen Vega's Dating as Told by the Modern Horror, Joshua M. Morgan's Pockets, and my book 48 McGay Misconduct. And we'll soon also do that with Paul Dickinson Russell's The Will of the Magi, Joshua Morgan's Daddy Come Home, and Philip J. Sipkoff's The Magnus and the Maiden. And of course, we're always looking to accept work with new authors and submissions through our website. And so when we reached to actually be able to publish base, that completed that goal, also brought about the idea that need to reflect the change to us actually putting out new content there. Since the beginning, I've been working under the title Executive Officer because, as I saw it, we weren't creating new content, so I didn't feel that I had earned the title of publisher. Well, now that we have released 2 new titles and more are on their way, as of tonight, I'm now going by the title of Publisher and Chief Creative. So I'll have a lot of old business cards I'll be getting rid of at Gaithersburg. So this was all done in consultation with my management team, and they believe that the process is worked on enough that the change is evident, and uh, by how my position isn't changing at all. It's just a different title. I'm still going to have the same responsibilities, still be working to the best of the company, but now having the company being led by a publisher and not just an executive officer helps to, in a way, just improve just the way that the company may be viewed, or reflects on the company with now me in the role of publisher. But it's not going to change much in how I do things. It's just a title change, and it shows the wonderful things we've been able to do and accomplish, and that we have surpassed so many of our goals. Now, of course, we have more things to come in the coming year. New releases, the second aois21 annual, the second aois21 Kickstarter campaign, more great episodes of the Passion of the Page podcast, the Publish Me podcast, the creative speaking YouTube web series. We're also looking at various other ways we can help out, provide new services to our creatives and to any self-publishers or authors out there who want to work with us. We are reaching out to other independent bookstores and hoping we'll be able to set up more book signings and have new retail partners, new places you'll be able to find the annual. We're reaching out to other venues to be able to have author events, whether that be libraries or local universities, seeing about them hosting our creatives to do talks or Q&As or just readings and book signings. Just everything we can, because we have an absolutely fantastic group of creatives, and they have brought their talent together to create some excellent books, and we're privileged to be able to represent them and to help share their stories with the world. Now, in closing, I just want to share with you, we have, with our new logo design and our new website, we also have a new introductory video. So just hold on, let me share this with you. Okay. There, what do you think? We'll be posting that to our YouTube channel tonight, and that will be the new introductory video to when new people come to the channel. I urge you to subscribe, and that way you'll get content whenever we have new postings, such as creative speaking, or when we have unboxing videos, when we have new titles or new marketing things. And we'll also try to do some videos at some of our book events as well. So stuff to look out for on our YouTube channel. And this will also be on our new website on the Media Hub. So just another wonderful thing, and that was done thanks to the work of a designer through Fiverr, which has been an excellent partner with some of the great people that are on there offering their services for short-term things. Been able to work with them on a number of projects now. So that about wraps it up. So it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to work with not only my great staff, but all the wonderful creatives, to be out there representing them and talking about their books, of reading their books and trying to find the perfect way to help share it, market it, promote it. It's definitely been an interesting event here over the past year doing this, and I'm looking forward to moving forward and hopefully a continued success into the here. And I'll be online here. I do the Google Hangout over here on YouTube on the 21st of each month with a Q&A series with Ask aois21 on the 21st, where I take questions of writing, marketing, or publishing. So feel free to come back and check that out. And you could always ask questions with the hashtag AskAce21, and I'll try to, if I get them, I'll answer them on the air. But we do that every month on the 21st. Like I said, we'll be at the Gaithersburg Book Fair coming up next Saturday, May 16th. We are hoping to also have a presence at the Fairfax Fall for the Book in late September this year, and at the Virginia Writers Conference, a Writers Symposium put on by the Virginia Writers Club in Charlottesville on August 1st. And besides that, we'll hope to be around, out and about with our authors, having events. So stop by news.aois21.com for our big announcements, events.aois21.com to check our calendar. Check us out, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, LinkedIn, Google+, About Me, pretty much every social media site out there that allows business sites, we're there. All right, well, thank you very much for those that were able to join us tonight. I know the system didn't allow me to see if anyone was actually joining, but if you joined us or if you're watching this later, thank you. And to continued success. We are aois21 Publishing. What do you want your book to be?